What would you do with your life if you knew you would not fail at it? This question changed my life for the better, and I think that it can do the same for many others. So often nowadays, people will take jobs for the money or because they feel like they have no other options, and not because it is their passion. For me, I would like to make videos that help people find joy in their lives in one way or another. When you think of the word success, what comes to mind? Most people would answer this question with money, and this is where the problem comes in. What if success meant being happy? How would that change your outlook on things? In a documentary I saw recently on Jim Carrey, he says, "You can fail at what you don't love, so fail doing what you love." I want you to meet two people who love what they do and took huge steps to get where they are now. The first one is my fraternity brother, Matt.
So, I'm Matt Morelli. I took a semester off of Kennesaw State to go backpack the Appalachian Trail. It took me 5 months and a week to do that. And then after that, I decided I was going to buy this van and I was going to go photograph the West. And so I've been doing that for this semester and I'll be doing it for the spring. So I took just some time off school and followed my dreams. 2002 Ford E150. Got my pantry here. I got the whole kitchenette area. There's usually a Yeti cooler tucked in there. It's my refrigerator. Over here I got bed, travel wall, like pretty much any place that I've been to. I'd take like something free I get from there and put it up on the wall. And during the day I usually fold this bed up into the wall. I got more storage space down there. Then come back around here. Got a ton more shelf space, and it's kind of it's everything I need it to be. Got my entire life in there. I usually keep a lot of backpacking stuff in here, and clothes go up top, and there's like usually some chairs and some, got an axe usually in there, and everything I need, man. At the end of the day, I think it was just because I told so many people I was gonna go that I just kind of had to at that point. So I made the final decision, and it was just a flip of a switch. It was like just kind of like this like weird feeling in my stomach, like what's gonna happen in the future, to just doing it. Never able to look back after that. Suddenly hit me, put my entire life on hold. Like I was, on track to become a teacher, like I had the ball rolling, I had a very good job, I had a fraternity, I had all sorts of things going for me. All sorts of things telling me to stay and, be comfortable. Worst case scenario, I took a semester off and I didn't do it. So, I finally decided just get up and go. And it was seriously the easiest thing I've ever done. I thought it was going to be this whole massive process, just like, how am I going to do this? And it's just, I'm going to do it. Just, it wasn't even a question anymore. And it's just the most life-changing decision I've ever had.
The other person I want you to meet is Steve. He's my boss at Big Peach Running Company.
Hi, my name is Steve DeMoss, and I am one of the owners and partners of Big Peach Running Company. And I was going to tell you a little bit about how this all came to be, so we have to kind of back up a little bit in order to do that. I did graduate with a marketing degree from Auburn University. I promptly went into a field that had nothing related to marketing, of course. That's how most people do with their college degrees. But I went into event marketing, specifically within the Olympic movement for a brief period of time. And for a while decided that was the passion that I wanted to follow, and I did a pretty good job of it, actually working with a rather large sports and event marketing and management firm up in the Northeast for a few years, following having worked at the Olympic Games in 1996 for 2 years. And then after deciding that I didn't want to live in the Northeast, and I didn't want to travel to all the places where we were running these events. I wanted to feel like I was part of the community that I lived in, that I would work in as well. I decided that the first step towards doing that would be to live in a place where I wanted to actually live. So my wife and I uprooted and came to Atlanta, where I went to work for about 5 years for a consumer packaged goods marketing agency. My sole client at the time for most of those times was Coca-Cola. And I got deeply versed in retail strategy and retail marketing for at least at a big high level, as something like Coca-Cola would be doing. And along the way, met my business partner who also worked at Coca-Cola, and decided that I could be good at what I was doing, but I couldn't be great because I wasn't passionate enough about it. And this was an opportunity to be great at something because it was something I was truly passionate about, getting into the running and active lifestyle community. It certainly checked the box of being local and working where I live, and checked the box of being something I was passionate about, and a great opportunity to do something that, quite frankly, most people don't have the opportunity to do. So I went for it. So failure in any business is right around the corner for everybody. When you're in a larger corporation or a larger company, and when you're younger, you don't realize that failure is right around the corner, but it is. And of course, we'll use an example, if you're Apple, going out of business is probably not something that's on the near horizon. But certainly, if you're a public company like that, I mean, failure, if you introduce a bad product, if you have one stumble in a quarter, it's not the end of the world, but it's failure, right? I mean, it's serious. Those kinds of things matters. And I think when you're in a large corporation like that, it's hard to see that, especially when you're younger, or maybe when you don't have a position where you get to see all the guts of how the organization is going. So failure's everywhere, no matter what you're doing, whether you realize it or not. It's kind of nice not to realize it, but in a small business world, especially when you're the owner, you realize it every single day. Failure is very real, and it's something that it's a great motivator. It's interesting, as humans, I think stress is massively important and useful for us to be productive, but for us to be healthy too. If we live a life, and there's actually been research that supports this, if we live a life where there's an absence of stress, an absence of danger, an absence of fear, it actually dumbs down a lot of our innate instincts to respond to those and to perform admirably in those conditions. So I think you kind of have to just embrace the fear and embrace the failure and realize that it's part of it. It's easy to say. Of course, there's many days when you say, well, boy, I really wish that the stress and the fear of failure or anything like that would calm down a little bit. But I do think it's healthy, and it certainly is motivating, and it definitely keeps you sharp and on your toes, and always looking for ways to improve and succeed.
I also had the chance to get in touch with the family of Alan Watts. Alan was a British philosopher who was known for talking on Eastern philosophy. His family believed that one of his speeches could help me out with this project, and they were right. Enjoy.
What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like? Let's suppose, I do this often in vocational guidance of students. They come to me and say, well, we're getting out of college and we haven't the faintest idea what we want to do. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. I said, do you want to teach in a riding school? Let's go through with it. What do you want to do? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. And forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And after all, if you do really like what you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, you can eventually you can eventually become a master of it. It's the only way to become a master of something, to be really with it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. So don't worry too much. Somebody's interested in everything. And anything you can be interested in, you'll find others who are. But it's absolutely stupid to spend your time doing things you don't like in order to go on doing things you don't like and to teach your children to follow in the same track. See, what we're doing is we're bringing up children and educating them to live the same sort of lives we're living, in order that they may justify themselves and find satisfaction in life by bringing up their children, to bring up their children to do the same thing, so it's all wretch and no vomit. It never gets there. And so, therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?